What's up, you guys? We are back over the BS. I'm your girl, Sadé.
And I am Blair.
And it's been a hot minute, right? Since we've been here with you guys. So we're so excited to be back and thrilled to talk about the Grammys and how we're kind of over it.
First of all, I feel like I haven't talked to you in forever because there's been so much going on in our lives. Because you've been working on a project, which I won't spoil, and I've just finished doing the Soul Train Awards. So I feel like there was just so much, and it was my birthday. There was a lot going on.
There was a lot. It was, but I think, sometimes you need a much needed break. Or when you're working on multiple projects, you want to be able to give enough focus and love to each project at a time. So, we missed you guys, of course, but, we have a lot of endeavors and things on our plate. And yes, for a moment, let's give a shout out to Blair, a happy belated from the Over the BS podcast listeners.
Thank you, thank you.
You were up in Big Bear. Is it okay to share?
Girl, I was in Big Bear with the mountains and the cold.
You
white people, the Trump supporters.
Okay, and look at the photos, okay? Like, I was like, oh, these could be honestly in one of those like magazines that they try to like sell you like a log cabin or sell you like a cabin or a timeshare. You looked so good, especially the ones that were like, there was that one outside that was on like a porch area or something. It looks like the type where, there's like a Subaru commercial. And at the end,
someone else said that.
You're outside with your Subaru in your car and they're just like, like
I had so much fun, and I just can't believe it's already been a month since that. And I can't believe that was like a week or two before the election. And I think part of the reason why we didn't want to record also right away was because we were already talking about the debates, and talking about the election was just too much. We needed a break.
And as you guys know, it took like 5 days. It took a whole week to get some proper results. That week was stressful. It was hard to think about anything else while you were at work or doing other projects. It was just exhausting. And I think that we have talked about it so much that it's like, we don't need to do this anymore. We don't want to, drag this out for you guys. But luckily, I think we prevailed. We're out on the other side, and let's just hope for the best, especially for these next 2 months, because he's not trying to go quietly.
He's not. And okay, but it's funny how like a lot of people are taking breaks during the holidays, but we're sitting here the day before Thanksgiving working.
Right. So, we're doing what we can because we love you guys, okay?
We do.
Okay.
We love them.
Yes, and we want to give you this little tidbit. So earlier this week, Grammy nominations came out, and the Twitter timeline was in shambles.
I think you meant the scammies.
The scammies, okay, renamed the scammies according to Blair. But so let's go. What's the first scam you want to talk about? What's the first scam? Because there are a few.
Well, I have a few.
2021.
I wish I had a nail filer. I have a few. I feel like Bowman. You know how Bowman like puts eggs in his like drinks?
Yeah.
Well, first of all, I have to say that I'm not a fan of The Weeknd, like a big fan, and I'm not a fan of his new album. However, I liked a couple of the singles. But he definitely should have been nominated, at least for Record of the Year, because I remember Blinding Lights being all over TikTok. I remember it being all over the radio, and I'm pretty sure.
Was it not in a commercial, or am I making that up?
What'd you say?
Was it in a commercial, or am I making that up?
It was everywhere.
It was TikTok ads. Regardless, the song was everywhere.
Everywhere.
Like you said. And I think if we roll it back a little bit so that people know that, so he basically has been snubbed and came out on Twitter and said that the Grammys basically gave him an ultimatum when it came to his nods. Either he could perform at the Grammys or he could perform at the Super Bowl. But if he wants to do both, it is going to cost him. And honestly, even with that ultimatum, it was going to cost him.
Well, but that's the thing. That wasn't an actual agreement with him. That's what people think CBS did.
That's
that's the confusing like part of it too, because and he tweeted
TMZ, I'll give them their cite the sources. TMZ sources claim that that is the idea behind everything behind his snubs.
Yeah, and I thought it was ridiculous. He had every right to be upset. I don't care if you're doing the Super Bowl. That should not matter. If you are nominated for a Grammy, or if you should be nominated, you should be nominated. It shouldn't matter what you're doing outside of
And
it.
also, I'm like, when you really think about it, these are two completely different entities. So, right, Super Bowl, huge performance. You aren't paid. It is really just so you can give your time, and I guess somewhat you could call it exposure, because for some artists, it makes them even more so of a household name, even though they pretty much tap household names. Regardless, the
Mm-hmm.
one is a performance at a sporting event, a huge sporting event, versus like a performance with, you could say, your colleagues, like at a place where you're getting recognized amongst your own industry folks. They're two completely different monsters to me. That's why I'm like, I don't see why there should be an ultimatum. Like, how are they even really conflicting besides
They're
time?
not.
It's just
That's
because
the
they're in the
thing. They're
same
not.
proximity of time. They're not.
They're not. And I want to know, like, I know that obviously artists are on the board where they pick the winners, but who decides who's nominated? That's who I need to
So
talk to.
yeah. So funny you should ask. So I used to be a music writer for Grammy Pro, which is a division of the Grammys, when I was in New York. And basically I would just go interview artists and stuff like that. Like I did like Post Malone, I did like Ms. Mister, like all these artists. And at the same time, when I would go and like cover their show and interview them, one of my friends who's actually worked for Grammys, he worked in like their membership department. So what they would try to do is try to get artists to sign up for membership if they aren't already, because that's how they become voting members. But also, it's not just artists; they will tap other industry folks so they can be voting members. And
Well,
like
that
obviously, the pool to that is that you could potentially get a Grammy that way. So voting members are people who have registered, with the have registered with
I
them.
don't think that the people
And it's
should be able to vote, but I also don't think that record executives, if you work for Capitol Records, you're obviously going to nominate people that are with your label, which I read someone did with Cardi, because Cardi should not have won the Grammy versus Travis Scott. Point blank, period, in my opinion. I think Invasion of Privacy was an amazing album for all the writers that were on it. But for me,
and you need her who she calls co-writers, but more like a ghost.
oh, I don't know, girl. I see a lot of names.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I see a lot of names. When I look at Onika Tanya Mirage's, who wrote her shit, I see maybe 1 to 3 people.
Yeah. Yeah. She was calling them co-writers, but was like, ciao.
We know what they are. His name is Party. That is what his name is, who writes her most of her stuff. But I just want to say overall that it's ridiculous, because that's it's conflicting and it's not fair. And Drake just posted something where he pretty much said, long story short, that we need to start just creating something else, because it doesn't make sense at this point.
And we have a history of being honestly shaded and like gypped when it comes to industry, when it comes to anything involving industry standards. Like, remember 2014? We're really gonna give a Grammy to Macklemore over Kendrick Lamar.
Kendrick, girl.
Ciao. And the fact that, well, Macklemore did like the widest thing he could do and text him, "This should be yours." Anyways, that was annoying. But the point is, even he knows he didn't deserve it. Like, exactly. We all knew. So what is the draw there? And I feel like,
and it's not just black people. It's white people. Like, Katy Perry was never nominated for Best New Artist.
Yeah, no, there is some. That's what I'm like.
In 2010, when she released Teenage Dream,
and Teenage Dream,
she didn't win a fucking Grammy for that shit.
Teenage Dream is iconic.
Iconic.
And I will say it is partially one of the blueprints of the 2000s era.
Period. And I'm not even a Katy cat.
The other girls weren't doing it like her, okay? They weren't doing it like her at that time.
No. Okay? She had 5 #1 songs on that album, tied with Michael Jackson. Do I need to name them? Because I will. But she deserved it.
I love Miss Katy. And you bring up a good point. It's even just across the industry, period. So there's something needs to be fixed there. There's something. But I think there's always I feel like,
because Justin Bieber is upset because Yummy wasn't nominated for Best R&B Song. I want to be very clear that Yummy was not R&B. And Justin, you are even lucky that you were nominated for the Scammy.
I know. He was. Okay, so I saw a tweet, and someone was saying, just because he knows he can't stand a chance next to Dua Lipa, so he wants to be an R&B. I was like, oh.
And that's on period.
Like, for real. So I totally understand that, because Dua Lipa, she ate. This past year, she ate. And Yummy, so that, his whole, like, album, I get the R&B vibes, and I know he like made it with R&B intent, but it wasn't
a good R&B album.
It's still not eligible to be an R&B album.
He had 2 really good songs, maybe 3. The one with Kalani, the one with Quavo, and the Yummy remix with Summer Walker.
And they all had to have features. Period.
I don't know what else to say about that. But honestly, let's talk about the biggest snub. I felt like, because I've always been a Barb, and I'm going to admit it, I am a freaking Barb. And I always felt that it was so wrong that Nicki Minaj did not win Best New Artist in 2011 when she was nominated, and she lost against Bon Iver. And the Queen, she, I'm so happy that she tweeted and she jumped in this conversation, because she tweeted, "Never forget the Grammys didn't give me the Grammys didn't give me my Best New Artist, and when I had 7 songs simultaneously charting on Billboard in bigger first week than any female rapper in the last decade, went on to inspire a generation. They gave it to the white man Bon Iver," who's actually a group, but it's okay. Hashtag Pink Friday.
No, I saw a tweet and I was like, no lies detected. No lies detected. It was the biggest snub ever. It really was. And like, Bon Iver, I think Bon Iver also, they went on to win like Best Alternative Music Album. So it's like, do they really also need that award when she was competing at that level?
Aren't they a folk band?
Okay, but I do also gotta say that the memes that came out of her tweet were legendary. Like, I saw some of the funniest memes. Like, there was one where it was like a scene from Midsommar where like Florence Pugh is just like walking through the compound, just like crying by herself. And they're like, Bon Iver when he wakes up to see the Nicki Minaj tweet. Or Bon Iver when he sees all the Barbs in his mentions, just like.
Do you see the ones where people were attacking Bon Jovi?
Oh no!
The wrong people, Barbs. You got to learn how to read. It's Bon Iver, Iver, not Bon Jovi. Jovi. I love Bon Jovi. I feel so bad for them.
You know what? The Barbs were like, we have a job to do, and whoever's name begins with Bon, and you are in the way of the destruction, not our fault, not our problem.
It's like the Beehive and Rachel Ray when they were supposed to go after Rachel Roy. It's not the right person.
I know. Oh my gosh! But you know what? And I also saw another tweet that got deleted expeditiously. It said, I know, you know what? I took a screenshot. It might still be on my phone. It was like, imagine having a baby and getting married and blah, 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 and still being mad about a Grammy snub from 2012. And I'm just like,
she's not mad about it. She's at peace about it. She's reminding you guys. Why? Okay, but why when a woman does it?
But what if she was still upset about it? That is her artistry. That is her craft. That's what she's dedicated majority, basically all of her life to. And it's okay if she has a bit of a qualm with it, because she's, like you said, reminding everybody that just how corrupt and behind some of these like industry standard events are. Like, what do you mean imagine? So I saw it and I think it was up for about 5 minutes. So when I clicked on it, it was like tweets not loading. It was gone.
You know what?
Because
I also felt like it was wrong last year because I'm sorry, Billie Eilish, she should have won, Best New Artist, whatever. But for her to win Album of the Year when all of her songs sound the same is ridiculous to me. How did she beat Ariana Grande? Thank You Next. Album of the Year is not about, a single. It's about an album. Does it flow? So when Adele, for example, beat Beyonce's Lemonade, Lemonade was an album. It was a movie. It was a story. Every song had a theme. Adele's shit didn't have a theme. Billie Eilish's shit didn't have a theme except like satanic shit. But Ariana Grande's Thank You Next deserved Album of the Year. And I'm just like, what is happening? We have Billie Eilish winning all these awards because she's hot. Like, come on now.
And that's why I think a lot of these like industry events, they just straight up get it wrong because they think, well, when it comes to certain categories, they'll just go with like who seems to be the overarching popular vote. And for them, it's like, well, everyone loves Billie Eilish, but I totally agree with you on that. Like, I like her music, but did I go on a musical sonic journey when I listened to it? I did not. And also, it was her breakthrough year. Like, she was taking home a bunch of others. Does she really need to take that one home too?
Yeah, she could have just.
I feel like they should be looking at it that way too. Like really weigh the options because it's like she's gonna be here for a while and she has room. She needs room to grow too. And
look at Lorde.
I mean, I love her as an artist. I think she's great, but obviously she's still evolving. She seriously is. So I'm like, it's okay. We don't need to do all that. And there are other seasoned artists who took us on journeys. Shoot, like Thank You Next was a continuation of Sweetener. Like, technically, it's been a 2-album journey. It was due.
And not to mention, she dropped 2 albums in a year, less than a year. But it's like, it was a story. Mac Miller had just died. She just became single. Every song on that album was like loss. Whether it was losing a person or losing the love of your life, it was about loss and it was about overcoming it. And it's just like, y'all are really just taking away the meaning of music. That's what music is about. It's about telling a story, not a hot single here and there. Yeah. It's about the whole album.
Yeah.
Album of the year, Grammys, album, not singles of the year. Not number 1 of the year, album of the year. So when they gave that shit, for example, to Beck, what did they give to Beck? Record of the year? What's up? Girl, I don't like the Grammys, and this is why, because they really got me in my feelings. But guess what? I still watch that shit every year, hoping that they pick the right people. And I felt bad because Lana Del Rey, I thought her or Ariana Grande should have won album of the year. They didn't give Lana nothing. And this is before racist Lana.
Yeah. You know what? And I'm a huge Lana stan. Like, now it sucks because I have to be a little more like, because of everything she said. And I'm just like, girl, I would love for you to stop opening your mouth since like this past year. Because like, I mean, I have her CDs, like first CDs. Like I was listening to her back in like 2011 and 12, like found her music on Tumblr type of fan.
I'm your national anthem. God, you're so handsome.
No, video games.
On a video game.
Like I had the version where I downloaded it from Tumblr and it was like unedited, like that kind of fan. So my only critique is I don't even think that was really her best album to get the award, but I do agree with you that she has a better award in that category along with like Ari. So,
and I'm sorry, how did Lil Baby not get nominated? Because he dropped that Black Lives Matter song that was all over the protests. It was on the radio. It's still on the radio. It is such a meaningful song about Black people, whether you live in the hood or just Black lives in general. And he lost. He made a meaningful song. He didn't even get nominated.
I feel... See, this is where I get slighted again. It's not only just like what they think is popular, but what are they looking to and listening to see, to determine what a crowd is or what listenership is or where listenership is. I feel like sometimes these industry events, again, are looking at like classic industry. Like, oh, so this is on the radio, but what type of radio? What kind of listeners are listening on this radio? I feel like it's got to be the type of person who's playing on like 102.7 all the time, not necessarily
with Ryan Seacrest.
And that is no shade, but that's one of those like, it's a more general pop station that also plays hip hop. It will also play whatever, but it's like even the hip hop they play, it's like what you'd consider more mainstream and commercialized to some degree. And also, I don't know if I'm going too far here, but maybe they don't want to get political. How people suddenly, they get real tense around things that can seem political and only want to do it at certain times. I
It's
don't
funny
know.
though because they let Kendrick Lamar perform in the prisoner outfit and all that shit, but they didn't want to give him an award.
That's
They
what,
want to get
but that's what
political.
I
They
mean.
want to get political
That's what I
performances,
mean.
but they don't
People
want to
want to
give
pick.
political
They want to
awards.
pick and choose because it's like, oh, you can perform real quick, but will we give you the physical award? Like that. That's different too, especially in an
Well, you know
industry.
what, Grammys?
I don't know.
You
I
can
don't know
say
because
that you,
I'm not in the ins and outs, but that's how. That's
yeah.
what it looks like.
But no, I believe that they're political too, but this is how they work. You know, they were upset because they didn't want Nicki Minaj performing when she did the Catholic performance and all that Roman holiday.
That's one of my
And
favorites. I
I
don't care what
personally,
anyone says.
they were so mad about it, and it was like, you guys asked me to perform. I've been doing all these commercials. She said it on her radio show. She said that you know, she was doing all these commercials with LL Cool J saying, you know, I'm performing at the Grammys. They had her saying that.
Mm-hmm.
And then when she's about to do it, they say no, and she's like, no, I'm not doing that. I look dumb. I just did all these commercials for you guys. Yeah. I just promoted your show, and then after the promotion of the show, then she doesn't get nominated for a Grammy. Like, what? I mean, I think the Pink Print did get nominated for Grammys, but she didn't win one. Not one. You guys, Nicki Minaj does not have one Grammy.
Months, right? Like,
she's been nominated a few times, but it's like not one Grammy for a feature. Not even a feature, bitch.
And she literally, it has inspired a generation. Generations, you can say, because millennials and the Gen Z.
She was the only female rapper for 10 years.
And honestly, every time she put something out, cultural reset.
Cultural reset.
Do you remember when Anaconda dropped that song, that music video? I mean, obviously, for people who've been listening to Nicki before that, we know there are many cultural resets, but that was one moment that took pop culture over by storm. It was,
even if you didn't like the song, it changed everything.
Everything. Like, even music videos from that point, like, she really did what she had to do. And for her not even to get recognition at that point, it's ridiculous. It really is ridiculous.
Yeah, even like, I don't know, but it's like, I don't understand. Listen, Beyonce obviously should be nominated for whatever, but it's like I feel like they just nominated Black Parade just to nominate it because it wasn't never on the radio. My friends never listened to it like that. Like, it's on my 2020 playlist, but it ain't listened to like that. Like, why wouldn't you guys nominate one of her Lion King songs? Power is my shit.
Speak on it.
I'm just saying, like, out of all the Beyonce songs that she dropped,
I've listened to Black Parade 2 times, maybe.
And that's not shade. I love Beyonce. Like, it's just why is that song nominated? Yeah. Is it because it's cleaner than Lil Baby shit? Is it cleaner than Trey Songz Black Lives Matter song? Like, girl, I don't know.
Yeah. And you know what? I hate to say it this way, but Beyonce is digestible for them.
Well, yeah, because she's won so many already.
You know? So it's just like easier to be like, well, you know, throw it that way. If we got to, you know, look like we picked something that's for the people, you know, let's go with B.
Yeah, because that makes no sense. It's like, it was kind of similar when Rihanna didn't win any awards for Anti, and that was a culture reset. The way that she released the album, the way that she went on tour with the album, the videos for that album, and she didn't win anything for that album. Not even R&B awards.
I feel like, though, that's why, like, I feel like over time you can see how much, like, the artists don't care to some degree. I will say, in a sense where you can see that they've just like almost let it go. Like, you know, when they get to the carpet, they will walk straight through, because sometimes they're just like, I'm here because, like, you know, I've moved on from like thinking that this is the one goal in life. Like, there are other things I can reach and do with my craft, because it's getting shisty, or it been shisty and kind of scammy when it comes down to it. Like, it just reminds me of when, like, Jay-Z won and he was just like, oh yeah, Blue Ivy, I got you a gold sippy cup. Like, to say that in like an acceptance speech, I feel like you get to a certain point where you've been doing stuff for so long that you're just kind of like over it. Like,
yeah, because it doesn't matter. Like, it's becoming a joke. I think that the Grammys, in order to take it serious again, they need to make some sort of change with who's on the boards, how many people are nominated. Personally, I think that the only people that should be nominated are actual musicians. I think executives, that's politics. To have executives decide who's nominated, when you work for Atlantic Records and you're choosing Cardi B for every nomination, everyone on your team to do the same thing,
Exactly.
of course she's going to be nominated. Does she deserve it? No. I'm just saying compared to other people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, there's no way that Cardi B should have won an award before Nicki Minaj. But Nicki Minaj opened that door. That's what people need to understand. She not opened that door for Cardi to get a Grammy. She opened that door for Megan to get, 4 Grammy nominations?
Yeah.
But where the hell is SZA?
And yeah, she was the pioneer for both of them. I mean, obviously, like, Nicki's come, you know, we can just see that the mic's been passed to her from women above her. But with this generation, the way that's coming in, she is their pink print. She's
exactly.
Their pink print.
I mean, look at when she was on every time she's featured on these new songs, like with the one with NBA YoungBoy, and then the other one with a whole lot of choppers. That girl said, woof, that bitch said, Black Lives Matter, I'm a riot. This girl sets the bar. No matter the time, she's going to kill that shit. So for me, that's a huge thing. Nicki Minaj is right. The Weeknd is right. Drake is right. And we have to kind of decide what we're going to do. And that's why the BET Awards are becoming bigger in a way, because, you know, that's the NAACP Awards. It's like we're starting to look at those as more serious nominations, awards. Because where the hell was Summer Walker? Summer Walker released one of the best albums, not R&B albums, pop albums, alternative. She released one of the best albums at the end of last year, which means she should have been nominated this upcoming Grammys, and nothing.
Crickets.
Summer Walker, like, y'all.
No, but see, that's what exactly. I'm like, when it comes down to our craft, it sucks that sometimes you're like, we just got to do it ourselves. And I hate, because there is like a weird dichotomy, you could kind of say, or like a catch-22, right? Because of course, everybody is like, you want to make your own awards or your own venue or your own benchmark in the industry. So if you create your own awards, that is awesome. That's great. You get those accolades. But at the same time, when you have the older form of recognition, it just seems more, you know, like it has more esteem because it's been around for X amount of time. And because honestly, when you get a Grammy, it also comes with, I think, it's just like more recognition. I believe, do you get paid? Not paid. But honestly, there are other things that come with it that is making me think of it, but I can't remember at the moment. However, when you get that kind of esteem and the accolades that come with it, automatically, if you can say Grammy, whatever, because it's been around for so long, that opens the door for you to do other projects. And it kind of sucks because it's like, but do you even need that recognition once you have your own recognition? But then there's the whole of like, well, I want to be a household name. Do you want to do commercials? This whole part of the industry starts to like flow into when you get your Grammy versus like whatever. And it sucks. It kind of makes me think of like Oscars, where people are like, well, then you shouldn't want an Oscar because, you can still get, like an award with the, American Black Film Festival, right? Which obviously is great, but an Oscar, when you get Oscar, it's like household name recognition. And when you say you have an Oscar, that next gig that you book, you can get paid more. You can demand more money, things like that. So I think it's conflicting in that way.
Unless you're Monique, because apparently if she asks for money, she doesn't get it, even though she's an Oscar winner. Because they did her dirty too. But that's a whole nother story. But
But you get what I'm saying. So I understand, like, with music, it's like, okay, like, make this other thing and, like, take the accolades from that. But I think some people worry if it'll ever mean the same recognition as something that's been around for so long and has this, like, legend and, classic look to it and meaning to it.
I remember when Monique won her Oscar and she said, "Thank you for not playing politics." Like, her winning that Oscar was all about her performance. She barely got paid for her role in Precious.
I know.
It's all about her acting. And, that's what Tyler Perry said. He said that after this, you will get so many more things. And clearly, even after that, it wasn't enough. And I think that example that Monique went through at the Oscars needs to be remembered for the Grammys and how they treat African Americans in music, because without Black people, there would be no Grammys. That's what these people don't understand. Black people created music.
Also, I was going to say, you wouldn't have any of those categories either.
Even country music.
Rock, where'd that come from?
No country music.
All your bluegrass, all that stuff, where'd it come from?
Country music.
Hello.
I'm just saying. So I think it's important that the Grammys, they start becoming, you know, at this point, because clearly there's not enough people of color on their board, because like Selena Gomez either. Like I mean, I'm not a fan of hers like that, but I would have thought that she would have been at least nominated for something. No?
Yeah, no.
Oh.
And that's all I'm gonna say on that, because Selenators are wild.
I'm sorry. Like I said, I just thought maybe because it seemed like y'all were listening
because for her to already have constantly be a household name and who, you know, gets radio and airplay all the time, and even though she even though she's not the best singer, she does have really great songs that are written well and composed well and like catchy and put together and all that.
But Halsey wasn't nominated either, and that threw me. Because Halsey has released some bomb-ass music the last 4 years.
She has.
And she didn't get nominated for a Grammy?
I don't know what's going on this year.
Y'all really did this to Halsey. And, you know, she passes. Okay, that girl is half black and half white, but she passes. And y'all still ain't give her... Y'all treating this girl like Mariah Carey for real. No, for real? Like, y'all didn't give Halsey a damn Grammy? You know... Did Closer win a Grammy? No, I think she didn't. Did she ever win a Grammy?
I
don't think she ever won.
No, I don't recall one.
I'm sorry, but y'all need to give Halsey a goddamn Grammy.
She's very talented. She can sing, and like Blair pointed out, she passes. Like she passes.
Because me and her are the same, but she passes. Okay.
Passes.
You get what I'm saying? Because that makes no sense.
I'm dying because it's
no, for real. Like Halsey, like everyone, when she's one of those girls that when you find out she's black, it's like,
you know,
the girl that was on the song with the Chainsmokers
years ago, and she was so excited to tell me. It was so cute.
That her dad was black.
He was like so excited to tell me. I was just like, oh, you're so adorable.
Halsey was like, I'm actually.
But I actually already knew because I had watched something with her in it, and there again, she was so excited to talk about it. But I'm just like, you go, girl.
You go, girl.
Honestly, that's you go, girl. But honestly, that's why her music is. I feel like it's really. So like revolutionary to a lot of her listeners because they don't realize where all the influences are coming from.
She's not a very, I don't think of her as a genre because she does rock too. Yeah. She's very dynamic.
Like infuses it all together so well. Like all the roots, or you listen to like bass lines and things like that. It's all like coming from like hip hop and just makes it there. And I'm just like, that's why your music is so like innovative and creative. And yeah, now that you bring it up, and I didn't even realize that, yeah, she's getting slighted too.
I'm gonna need BET to start nominating her too. BET, y'all need to help Halsey out. Help your girl. She's our people, bro.
Help cousin Halsey out.
I'm sorry, but you can't be nominating Justin Bieber and Ariana Grande for BET Awards and then not nominate one of her own. Would you not nominate Mariah Carey's Emancipation of Mimi? Like, is this a question? Because you know she was dominating the BET Awards every year when that bitch was. Because I didn't even know when I found out that she was black, I was at a BET Awards and I said, Dad, why is she always nominated for BET Awards? I thought it was Black Entertainment. And my dad said, boy, she's as black as you. And I said,
I knew. I don't remember how I knew. I knew. I don't remember how I knew, but I knew.
I didn't know that. But anyway, so Halsey girl, yeah, the Grammys, y'all went too far.
All the collabs and everything. It's
like, Halsey was too far.
Yeah. Girl, you need to come over here, make a few more collabs, and then, you know, we'll get you flued out to the BET Awards.
Was Ari Lennox nominated either because she dropped She Butter Baby? This is ridiculous. See, this is preposterous. But Taylor Swift, the bitch, Taylor Swift got nominated for Grammys, and this bitch dropped a folk album that did that do anything for you? Were you listening to Cardigan?
Let me tell you. Well, no, I did not listen to Folklore. Period. But I'm not a Swiftie like that, or at all, really. Like I like a song here and there. But let me tell you something about T Swift. Like she makes it her business though to find out like how she can get nominated for different things and makes a plan really for it. She does, because like friends who have worked in the Recording Academy have told me like, yeah, she comes and takes like meetings and has done that before. And like one time she took a meeting and my friend like worked there and like went and was part of it. And literally like she had all these questions, she got them answered, and she took an individual picture with each and every person, like took the time. And like, yes, I want to say that's a great thing from your heart, but I also feel like it was a thing like, I'm going to get a picture with every single person. And I asked all my questions about how I can make sure I can like, you know, qualify for these things and like how, you know, like taking meetings with
kissing ass.
Taylor
Swift is that girl in school that does the extra credit.
Like who's doing that?
Oh,
so that's why I'm like, and that does not diminish. Like, I mean, I haven't listened to folklore and I won't, but that I won't. Period. But that doesn't diminish that she's a great artist for her time. But I mean, there are other great artists, and I don't see them taking meetings at the Recording Academy.
She's an amazing writer. The best tool for her artistry is her hand. I'm gonna pray over those vocals though.
I was just gonna pray for her dancing. Like I feel like when she's dancing in a crowd, I'm like, okay, girl, do your thing. But when she's trying to like dance during like concerts or like that SNL appearance that I can never unsee, yeah.
I have a question. Does anyone else get annoyed when Taylor Swift's at an award show and she's dancing? Like, do you ever get annoyed when the camera goes up to her? Because you know she's gonna do some dumb shit.
I'm trying to watch the performance. I'm not trying to watch someone that can't dance. Go back to the performance.
But doesn't that bother? I get annoyed when I watch an award show, every award show, and they pan to her. It just annoys me. Like, I don't need to see her.
I get it. She's enjoying herself, but there are a bunch of other people enjoying themselves. I'm trying to enjoy myself at home. Now show the performance.
Whether it's her and Selena, her and Camilla, her and Shawn Mendes.
Honestly, that whole side that you just named, I like don't care much for any of that.
They're all in those meetings too, because you know they're all kiss asses, bro. And then someone who wasn't nominated for, you know, Bruno Mars. Before I even say that, Bruno Mars wrote, you know, you can't be nominated for a Grammy if you don't release new music. Bruno, the facts.
I love that.
I love that too, because it's real. Like it's like, you know what? You don't worry about it. You just don't release music. And that reminded me, because Normani, I've been waiting for her. This little girl wanted to be Beyonce so bad.
But she's carving her own. And unfortunately, it's going to take a long time. Like,
is she carving her own? I haven't seen one thing about her since her and Khalid were on that stage. And she was rolling on the floor.
Stop. But I mean, I just, like I said, it's going to take her a minute, and, you know, to get recognition like that. But I'm glad that she gets uplifted by like our community, because it, like
she deserves it.
She deserves it. And also she's a girl, like she heirs to the pop side, and this industry tells us time and time again they don't want us blacks in pop, right?
Which doesn't make any sense, because
Samantha Mumba never got a chance. Samantha Mumba never got a chance. Okay.
And that's my thing too. It's like, y'all need to quit calling things R&B that are not R&B.
That's what Doja Cat, get out of our category.
Doja Cat is not R&B. She's black, but she is not R&B. Okay, just because you're black does not make you an R&B artist. Let Doja Cat beat Billie Eilish at something. Okay.
Yeah, her music isn't R&B. No.
Okay, it is pop. Mm-hmm. Pop was a hint of hip hop.
But she's like, she's probably getting close to being more like eligible in the pop categories than anybody else, because I'm like I said, Normani, and they don't want to see her in there.
They want to see R&B, best R&B album. Like, y'all, like they were trying to really nominate some Rihanna albums for R&B albums. I'm like, y'all,
stop this.
It's pop.
I'm like, you guys need to remember the type of music you're picking and like what that means and historically sounds like. Yes, we have, you know, things, there's fusion, and, you know, the way things are made these days, genres can slightly blend. But remember, like they told Lil Nas X, his song didn't have enough like lines or lyrics or sound or whatever to be considered country at the time. He gets Billy Ray on the track. It's country now.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yo,
and
I remember
they told him it wasn't country enough because of certain parameters when it comes to music.
They
So
would
are you
not
guys
play it on
applying
country
that to
radio
the pop
stations.
category? Are you applying that to R&B? Because it sounds like y'all just trying to mix and match. Like Biebs is trying to be like, let me see if I can, scoop up this R&B award because like I might not, get anything in pop. Like, no, we need to think about where things belong.
Justin Bieber did that because he wants to be black. All the black people he hung out with, all the black people he was hanging out with, and they were getting arrested, and he wasn't.
I was about to say, when he was egging his neighbors' houses and cars and all that stuff, and saying the N-word, hanging out with Chris Brown and Lil Wayne and all that.
Oh yeah, I forgot the N-word thing.
Yeah.
It's funny how we seem to forget some of the smallest things, and here we are letting people into our own little genre.
See, that's why sometimes I'm like, you guys, we don't need to let the colonizers in. We don't have to. We don't have to share our spaces. We don't.
I don't think so. I think it's sometimes like, I think if he had an R&B album that was good enough, he could be nominated.
Honestly, I feel like the closest thing to him having, I'm sorry I cut you off. The closest thing he had to actually sounding like R&B was Journals before that.
I agree.
That one to me would have actually been categorized as R&B. This last one, I don't think so, is as close at all.
Let me tell you, his Purpose album is my shit. I listen to Purpose all the time. He had hella singles.
He did. He is a talented artist, but I'm like, this isn't gonna fly, boo boo.
Not for us.
Like you can add a nomination to your name. There are artists who, would die just to know that they were nominated for something. So it's like, and especially when there's time and time again, like, just you got nominated. Sit down.
Especially in genres with Chris Brown and Usher, The Weeknd. Who else?
Like okay.
The Weeknd is also one of those people that he should not be nominated for R&B songs, R&B awards anymore, because he's not. Yeah, his last album was not R&B, pop. Yeah, even Starboy. Starboy was all pop.
He's way more pop, definitely, hands down.
Well, you guys, we want to hear from you guys. What do you guys think about the Grammy nominations? What do you think? Who do you think should win a Grammy Award? We want to know. Let us know.
If we start our own award show, what should it be called? Let us know. Should we let the colonizers in? Let us know.
Should we let them in or not? Because let me tell you something. I don't know if I feel comfortable at this point.
Like, should we let Tori Kelly in or not?
Tori Kelly, she could be nominated for some R&B awards. I would actually be okay with
that. But are we going to let the colonizers in or not?
You know what? JoJo won an R&B award last year. Grammy.
She's deserving, though.
She deserves it, girl. Well, you guys, let us know. And please, if you want to contact us at overthebsshow@gmail.com. You can also hit us up on Instagram or Twitter at overthebsshow. And on Apple Podcasts, please, if you're listening on your iPhone, go to Apple Podcasts, give us a good rating, leave us a good review. And also in your review, if you want to, start the conversation or continue this conversation, please do, because we would love to respond and talk to you back.
Yes. Now, don't forget, you can also follow us, your favorite hosts. I'm Sadé Spence at Sadé A. Spence on Twitter and Instagram. You can also find me on TikTok at Sadé TV.
TikTok. And I am Blair Thompson. You guys can follow me at I am Blair T, IAMBLAIRT. It's not I am Blairt. If someone else says I am Blairt, it is I am Blair T. My last name's Thompson, bitch. Also, you guys can follow me, subscribing to my YouTube channel.
Has somebody been calling you Blairt? Like what? Someone
said when I tell them my Instagram, like Blair, Blair Thompson, they're like, I am Blart. I am Blart. My name is Blair, so I am Blairt. If you want to think of it's still not right. It's I am Blair T, but it's okay. One day I'll just have Blair, but a girl from China has it. So until then, I'm stuck with this one. Well, you guys can also subscribe to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/BlairForKing.
Yes. All right. Now, thank you guys so much for listening. We wish you a happy holidays as we enter the season, and we will see you guys next time. Bye.
Happy holidays. Bye-bye.